Hey everybody, my name's Bill Lancaster, and welcome again to another teaching on YouTube. I want to get right down to the brass tacks on things, guys. The purpose of us coming into this world from the very beginning was for us to learn what it was like to live in a finite, perishable body. We didn't come here to make this world our home or to cling to this futile life, which in itself is nothing but vanity. But we came to learn through the things we suffered and to be made perfect, just like Jesus came and suffered and was likewise made perfect. God placed us in this world not to cling to and make this world our habitation and dwelling, but to give us a desire through the putridness of this world to long for a better, more perfect habitation. Now, God isn't necessarily going to remove us from this world to give us this new habitation, but rather He's going to change our bodies and form with us a new habitation of light within our own substance. And this act will cause us to be in a new place in Him. So it's not that we're going anywhere to attain to His salvation and to His heavenly kingdom, but it's like that kingdom's going to come within us, and through the transformation of our bodies, we will be brought into His kingdom kind of in reverse of what they told us growing up. It's not where we are that makes us in the kingdom of heaven, guys. It's what we are and what substance we become. Now, with all that's going on in the world, with the New World Order and the governments of men who are in tyranny over the people of all countries, it's hard to see God at work. But what we have to understand is that the very reason we came here was to endure these kinds of trials and these kinds of sufferings in order for us to learn what agape love is all about. God intends for us to be rulers in His universe and to help other civilizations to grow up and learn just like we have. But in order to do that, He has to place us in scenarios that will teach us how to be just rulers and patient leaders. Otherwise, how would we judge others if we hadn't been through the exact same circumstances that they had? No, God needed us to endure these hardships in order for us to be disciplined as soldiers, so that one day we too could become officers and help other soldiers in God's vast universal army. Even though wickedness seems to be the ruling attribute of our time, we have to understand that fertilizer is needed in order for plants to grow. You know, we watch our gas prices rise, our food prices rise, unemployment's horrible, and we endure all these sufferings wondering what in the world's going on. But the fact of the matter is, we are simply tasting of what life without agape love is. And in doing so, we are learning what it is to have the knowledge through suffering that God works out His strength through our weakness. So what I say is this: When you see the darkness all around you, keep your eye on the light. When you see the selfish maneuvering of the politicians, look within. Look within yourself to the light that shines in you. It wouldn't do any good to replace an existing government or an existing leader if you were simply going to put the exact same nature in office after them. What we need is an inner change, an internal change within us before our outer world can be changed along with it. This is something that only God can accomplish in us. And therefore, we have to place our trust in Him and not in our own self-reliance on our own human resources. The scripture in John that says, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life," is basically really saying this: that we will not attain perfection or God's kingdom through the reliance on our own flesh and our own human resource to overcome evil, but that we must recognize that all powers that exist are from God and of God, and that it is our reliance on Him that will overcome this evil, and not our own strength and our own self-reliance. That's why it's written that my strength is made perfect through your weakness. Our weaknesses show forth God's strengths. And the darkness of our world is what is going to show forth God's marvelous light. I know it's hard and I know it's a fearful thing. But the truth of our fear is this: that we have come into the hands and into the knowledge that we are in the hands of the living God, who rules the universe and through whom all powers and authorities derive that power and authority. Remember this when you're watching the news or you're hearing the gloom and doom on the internet. Remember that our God is love, and that His promises are sacred and true and can be counted on. Fear in us will be cast out, not by our own doing, but by God in us throwing them off of us and creating in us a new life and a new light, which will then saturate all of God's creation and give them a new hope for living.